Hey everybody, good morning. It's Epilepsyblogger. It's about 2:15 in the morning, and as usual, I can't sleep, so I'm gonna make a video. Today I want to talk about the importance of your medication. We all hate it. Nobody wants to take it, but it's important, and you're gonna hear it a million and one times. Over and over and over again. You're gonna hear, you need to take your medication on time, blah 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 blah, and you're gonna say, la 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 la, I can't hear you. But it's extremely important, because right now, as far as treatment, that's what a lot of us are left with. That's a lot of our only options right now. And right now I'm on Epilepsy. I don't know where, I should have this all with me, but I don't. That's another thing, you should always have a little bit of your medication with you. One thing I always recommend to people, just the other day actually, I was talking to a woman and she said, my daughter, she just always goes to sleepovers and she forgets her medication, and then when it's time to take her medication, she says, Mom, I forgot my medication at her house. You know, she was telling me the whole story. And I said, always make sure you keep at least 2 doses of your full medication inside like a little pill box. And what I did is I went to the store and there's like a round pill box and it has like separate, because you don't want to put, for instance, like this is Trileptal. You don't want to put Trileptal next to like another drug because they can interact with each other under some circumstances. So you want to separate them. So there's a couple things you can do. You can get little tiny baggies and put a couple pills. That looks kind of weird though. I wouldn't recommend taking that to school because that kind of looks like you're selling drugs. I've gotten in trouble for this before. Not for selling drugs, but they pulled me into the office and that's a whole other story. We'll tell you later. But basically someone looked in my purse. They were trying to steal something from me and they found my medication in my purse. And immediately said, hey, someone's trying to sell drugs here, so I got in trouble. Anyways, we'll talk about that another time. But you could get little baggies, or you could get a round pill box with separate areas for the pills, and put 2 doses. Or if you're taking 3 doses a day, 3 doses, but you want to keep at least enough for one day, just in case some crazy thing happens, and maybe you're stuck at a friend's house for the night, you're stuck on the side of the road, at a hotel, God forbid, you know, your house burns down, anything like that. You have to be ready for disasters all the time. They can strike all the time. You never know when. So it's always good to keep your pills with you. Even if, you know, you don't want to carry around the whole bottle, but you should always keep a little bit with you. It's really important to take your medication on time, and everyone says, well, why does it matter if I take it 2 hours off or 4 hours off or whatever? Well, basically the way my doctor explained it to me, and it's the easiest way to explain it to you, is that our body kind of runs like a clock. Everything runs like a clock. For women, our menstrual cycle usually runs like a clock. You know, we usually have that period, that 1 week a month, and it usually falls, you know, at least close to the time we usually had it last month. So your brain is expecting those drugs at the same time every day, and that's how it works because it's regulating your brainwaves. So that's how it works. Your brain's going to expect those drugs, and so let's say Susie forgets to take her medication, and her brain's like, hey, where are those drugs at? I need them, and starts freaking out because they don't have the drugs. You can actually induce an even worse seizure than you would have when you weren't on medication, which is why it's important to take your drugs on time, and your doctors are going to tell you all the time. And I had an Epilepsy Summit webinar today, and a woman said she was so upset, and she's a real sweet woman, and she does blogs, just like I do, and she was upset because she said, you know, every time I go to the hospital, the first thing they ask me is, did you take your medicine? And yes, it's annoying. I get annoyed by it because I am one of those people who does take their medication. But they ask you that because, simply because a lot of people forget their medication and it causes them no seizures. So, I mean, you need to remember to take it all the time, because it's important. The thing is, because, okay, a lot of the time, I'm trying to put this in a way that a lot of people can understand. We say, our meds aren't working. We need something, we need to try a new one. A lot of the time, and truthfully, and I've been through this because there was a time when I said Trileptal wasn't working. Trileptal works for me, to a point, but it works for me more than other drugs. But there was a time when I said, it's not working. And you know what? I was 16 years old, and I was not taking my pills on time. And that's why it wasn't working. And as soon as I started to take, started up my regimen, taking it the same time every day, it started working. So you really need to, in order to find success with a treatment, you need to start taking it the same time every day. And it's like, ugh, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to do that? I know it's hard. I know you're thinking, how am I going to take it at the same time every day? Well, I have a couple tips for you. And some of them are kind of silly. I heard a couple of them today that were really interesting. And there's a couple that I've already recommended before. I do it old school. I have my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday pill box. And I have one of the big ones because I take 3 different pills. This is a brand new pill bottle, which is why it's not in there. But I sort my meds every Sunday. And what's cool about a pill box is because when you've taken your meds and you look at your pill box, you know that you already taken them because it'll be empty. Like, I'll leave it open so I know. And that's one of the benefits. Also, you can sort it out and make sure that you have the right dose and you're not screwing anything up. So a pill box, even though it's old school, has a lot of benefits. One thing I heard today at the Epilepsyblogger summit was the woman, when she takes her meds, she turns her bottle upside down so that she knows she already took that dose. Or vice versa. Maybe you can turn it upside down and make sure to turn it upright if you've already taken your meds. Whatever works for you. That's one really interesting thing that I've never heard before. One thing I always recommend is like sticky notes, and doctors recommend this, and I recommended this to my doctor to tell his patients actually, because he'd never thought of it. Was to take a sticky note and write "take your meds" and put the names of your meds, because sometimes you forget if you start a new med. Maybe you're like, for instance, like when I started Xanax, I never remembered to take it. So I would put the names of the meds, but I would just put "take your meds," and right where I brushed my teeth, wherever I was. Some people don't have a mirror, but I have a mirror. I would stick it on the mirror. So every morning when I brush my teeth, I look up and I see that sticky note, "take your meds." So I go take my meds. You can also keep your meds by the area where you brush your teeth in the bathroom with a bottle of water. And I always keep a bottle of water near my meds, and I use it throughout the week just for taking my meds. Just to make it easy. So I see it all right there. So it's all right there, because there's those days when you're like really lazy and you're like, oh my god, I don't want to walk all the way downstairs, because I have a huge stairway in my house, and there's those days when you just do not want to walk all the way downstairs to go get your meds. I totally understand that. So that's just a way to make it easy. And if you're thinking, well, when I take it at night, I'm not in the bathroom. Well, you could split them up into 2 bottles, and you could keep one where you are at night and one where you are in the morning. And that's a really easy way to do it. Parents, if your kids are at school, make sure they have drugs at school, just in case they forgot. So if they say, oh mommy, I forgot, and you can't make it over there, just call the nurse and have them give them the medication. I did that throughout high school. I was homeschooled most of the time, but I did go in occasionally I took my art course at school, so I did go in occasionally, and I would forget my meds sometimes, and I would go to the nurse and say, hey, I forgot my meds. She would get them out and give them to me. That's a great important thing to do. I'm trying to think of all the different things. Here, I have tons of tips and I forget them all the time. There's also some apps. I know if you look on, I had a Palm Pre Plus and a Palm Pre 2. I always yawn on video. I don't know what my problem is. And there was an app called Take Your Meds. You can search that. You can put medication, whatever. And there's tons of apps. I found I think 3. And then we searched it on my boyfriend's Android. And he had tons. And then an old boyfriend, we searched it way back when, probably years ago. And there was an app called Take Your Meds on his BlackBerry, so I'm sure there's several apps out there. You can set an alarm on your phone, set an alarm on your regular alarm in your bedroom, your computer. There's laptop alarms. You do have to download them usually. Mine doesn't come with one. I have a Dell, but there's tons of different alarms you can find around your house. Kitchen alarms, anything. You want to use resources available. If you are like me and your whole life is in a planner, write it in your planner. Take my meds. Make sure you take my meds. Tell a loved one. I have short-term memory loss a lot because of my Felbitol that I've been put on. I'm on a really high dose at the moment now. There goes my light. They just took me up a dose and I'm just out of it all the time. So I always make sure to tell my mom, hey, can you remind me to take my meds today because I'm just feeling weird. Tell your loved ones. Put notes around the house. If you have to put them on the fridge and your bedroom mirror and your, bathroom, do it. You need to make sure you're taking your meds on time. Everybody hates taking medication. That's nothing new. Everybody hates it. Nobody wants to take a pill. Nobody wants to have to take these things every single day. However, if we want to keep our seizures controlled and continue to live life well until we can find that cure, that amazing cure that is on its way sometime in the future, we need to utilize what we have now and take these pills. And if your pills aren't working for you, take that up with your doctor, and don't fail to tell your doctor that you're unsatisfied with your treatment, because if you're not satisfied, he or she should not be satisfied either. So remember to take your meds, but if your meds are hurting you, if your meds are making you dizzy, if you're falling over, I was taking a medication called, trying to think of the name. It was awful stuff, but basically I was falling over. I fell in church, and it was the most embarrassing thing in the world. And I was just bawling and crying. And I said, you know what? I don't have to deal with this. I don't need to deal with this. And I told my doctor, I walked into the office, and as sweet as he is, I said, screw this, put me on another med. And I was pissed, and I was mad, and I was crying in his office, and I said, see this stuff? It's making me fall over. Put me on different meds. And you know what he did? Put me on different meds, and I'm doing much better. So please, take care of yourself. Take your meds on time. Don't fail to tell your doctor if you're having problems. If you feel like you're on too much, or if you're on a regimen that's just really difficult, if he's got you on 4 times a day or 3 times a day, say, hey, is there any way I can take these meds twice a day? Because it's just really hard to do with my schedule. And he can help you, he or she can help you change that regimen up, because there are different regimens for every single AED or epilepsy pill. So keep that in mind, you guys. Be safe. Take care of your bodies. Remember to take your pills, because it is vital to controlling your seizures, and I cannot stress that enough. God bless you guys. It's Epilepsy Blogger. Bye.